Thanks for reviewing. Just to review, every week I hop on here to answer any health and fitness questions anyone has. You're welcome to throw them in the comments section, and I'll answer them as they come up. If you've got a question you're not comfortable putting out in the public comments, you can always message us. Sometimes that comes in slower, so we may not see it until um, later, but we will get it in next week's live session. That way, you're not missing out and without having to feel like you're sharing too much with the world. I can appreciate it. A lot of these things are very personal, emotional. There's a lot of stuff that comes with um, lifestyle changes, especially when it comes to weight. Um, I didn't see any earlier questions from our stories, so I wanted to kind of open with the thinking about your environment. And are you setting up an environment that is supportive of your goals, or is it a continuous battleground when you're constantly struggling against your environment to make better decisions, to be more prepared, have better plans? Um, Basic examples that I usually give with clients is if you know that everyone has some sort of food or food category that they struggle, controlling themselves, they struggle saying no to. The temptation is just unavoidable when that's around. For some people, it's ice cream. Other people, it's chips. It can be a variety of types of foods. So, are you, intentionally purchasing these things in larger containers and keeping it around, or are you keeping it from even entering the house? And what I mean by that is, we've all got our own, like I said, kryptonite food where if it's in the house, we're going to eat it. And more often than not, we're probably not going to practice very good portion control when we do have it. And that is the thing that will chronically derail us over and over and over again when it comes to trying to follow a better diet, eat more balanced. And I'm not saying never have the foods that you enjoy. What I'm saying is maybe we don't keep them in a plentiful quantity to access at home. Instead, plan for like, okay, I'm going to have this, but you've got to go out of the house, get it, and make it a special event, something that you got to put a little effort into, um, because the more um, obstacles that we can kind of put in between us and some of those kryptonite foods, the less likely we are to be susceptible to it. What I mean by that is, I'll give you an example. For me, it's ice cream. If I know I've got ice cream in the freezer, it's going to get eaten, and it's usually going to be too much of it when I do eat it. Whereas if I have to go to the store or to get a single serving or a restaurant or something of that nature, I'm going to think a little harder about how much I really want that ice cream. Um, because now, I've got to, am I dressed enough to leave the house? Do I want to go out and get in the car? Do I want to, wait in a drive through? Do I want to go into a store? It, it more obstacles that there are, the more we're going to think about just that impulsive giving into it. And that's what I'm really talking about. If your environment isn't supportive of what your goals are, when we have our weak moments, our impulsive emotional trigger responses, and those kryptonite foods are there, that's going to get us in trouble. We're going to be susceptible to the lure. We're going to give in, and we're usually going to get too much of it when we do. Um, so being aware of what are we doing with our environment to set ourselves up for better success. Are you keeping kryptonite foods in the house? Are there other things that derail what your personal wellness goals are that make it harder for you to follow through, whether that be, you know, watching less TV, whether it be, you know, not eating certain types of foods um, on a regular basis. Those are things that you don't want to keep in the house. Um, just being aware of, you know, if you're a chronic, you know, binge watcher, but you're trying to get yourself into bed at a certain time, maybe turning on the TV at 8 o'clock is not a good idea to start with. And we need to look at what other things can we do so we can still have some downtime, but it's not going to be something that's going to be a pit trap of turning into 3 hours of episode watching, and now we're not getting to bed until 11 or 12. Um, the environment that we create for ourselves, the habits that we allow, are usually going to make or break the advancement of our progress towards our goals, whether those be health goals, whether those be financial goals, professional goals, family goals. You know, sometimes if you're feeling like you're stuck, or if you feel like you're going backwards, it doesn't hurt to take some time and assess your environment and whether or not it's supportive or prohibitive of you achieving those goals. And if it's prohibitive, that's one of the areas of opportunity that we can go in and start making changes to get it more supportive of your goals so you have an easier time moving forward. You're not falling into temptation or pit traps that lead us in the wrong direction. So just something to think about. If you do have any questions, if you're watching on the replay, throw them in. We'll cover them on the next week's. Until then, remember to stay persistent in your consistent pursuit of health and have a wonderful week.